Hello and welcome everyone. This is Type V3 with a Star Wars Black Series review of the 6-inch Kanan Jarrus, Jedi Knight and leader of the Ghost Crew from the animated series Star Wars Rebels. Hasbro took an interesting approach when bringing the characters from Rebels to their collector-focused Black Series toy line. Instead of directly mimicking the cartoon appearance, the Rebels characters were given a far more realistic aesthetic to better blend with the rest of the Black Series releases. Kanan here is the first example of this approach, and I think it turned out great. The figure has lifelike proportions, the costume has added detail to it, and it seems like a natural fit to any other 6-inch toy line. However, for me, the real winner is the head sculpt. Not because it's outstanding, but rather in how it compares to its source material. Most other Star Wars Black Series releases are inspired from a live-action source, and thus, when you look at the resulting action figure, there's this inevitable feeling of, it could be better. With Kanan, it's the other way around. They've given the head sculpt more detail than the cartoon version ever had. Combine that with Hasbro's realistic take on an animated series, and the outcome is an action figure that just looks right. It works, and it works well. The only downside to this figure's presentation are the small paint mishaps that are common with almost every mass-produced toy. There's a couple unevenly painted edges, minor examples of color bleeding, and some spots were scratched too. Otherwise, Kanan ended up being pretty handsome on the whole. For accessories, the figure includes his lightsaber and his blaster. Both are simple yet effectively detailed and painted, and Kanan can wield them easily in either hand. The blaster can be neatly stored in its holster on the figure's right leg, while the lightsaber splits into 3 components and the 2 hilt sections peg onto the front and back of Kanan's belt. It's a very cool gimmick, though not quite as secure as I'd like. For articulation, Kanan's head is on a ball hinge and the torso can swivel. Arms are on ball hinges, as are the elbows, while the wrists are on identical hinged pegs. The hips are on ball joints, there's a thigh cut, double jointed knees, and it's finished with a pivoting rocker ankle. Overall, it's the standard Hasbro 6-inch action figure setup. Not overly impressive, still, it gets the job done. The Star Wars Black Series Kanan Jarrus is a well-balanced action figure. While there's nothing offered here that will completely blow you away, every single aspect does just enough to satisfy you if you're a Star Wars Rebels fan. He looks great, both his weapons and their storage options are cool, and in my opinion, probably the best representation of the cowboy Jedi to date. Had he been given a little more articulation, as well as optional force push hands, and I'd say he'd be pretty close to perfect. As is, he's still a fun toy and a must for Rebels fans. But that's all for me. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next review.